Good afternoon. People online, good afternoon. Sorry we kept you waiting for some time. Right, so now all of us know the idea about why we are here. Okay, so on the assumption that you understand Kannada, can I use Kannada also, Sulpa? Okay, right. So we have all written prelims and we have come to a stage where we have not cleared. And we are looking ahead and we are confused. Okay. Many times it looks very dark, it looks very depressing, it looks very disturbing. We have given multiple attempts, and many times it also raises a question to ourselves that are we doing it right or is this really for us? So ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳ ಅಂತರಾತ್ಮವನ್ನು ತುಂಬಾ ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ and we feel very disturbed because first attempt understood, sometimes second attempt probably not, but at a point of time ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ the entire society around us starts questioning us, right? And there's a lot of self-doubt that arises about what we are doing. So it is at this time where we will have to find solutions, we'll have to find a path ahead that will guide us, that will take us to the right destination as we see it. That is something, as we see, is the idea that we are planning. Now, as a concept, this is a plan that is there from last 10 years approximately, and it has been giving results continuously. Okay, and I mean, we have shared one video, but there have been multiple success stories who have given interviews. This time there are at least 5 of them who are giving mains and who will give interviews for sure in the way things have been planned. Okay, so what is the idea? ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ದ ವೇ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ and do we have the right guidance, right orientation, right effort? Are we focusing our energy in the right manner? That is a question that we need to ask, right? So with that intention is the design of RAW. Okay, we all prepare, but we need to prepare with precision. That precision is required so that we make that edge. Clear prelims with a comfortable 10-20 marks margin irrespective of what kind of paper it comes. Clear mains again with a comfortable margin because that confidence is what we have to carry. And that preparation does not start in January or prelims clear admile, it does not start in June, right? It starts now. Many times we fail to realize that. So when we start that as early as possible, it takes us to a comfortable push ahead. In January, you will be in a very good confidence position that you will tell to yourself that now I am in a stage where I am good with prelims, I am good with mains, good confidence in prelims also. I need to do a lot of practice over the next 4 months. And then once you clear prelims, you will be in a position where you say, I now need to do a lot of practice, so good practice with a lot of preparation of what is existing now as current affairs that I need to take it forward for main. And we have seen that confidence happen. Okay, so it is not about the idea of being very overconfident or complacent. We are trying to arrive at that right balance, and that is why the design also is very effective. And year after year, we have not kept it the same manner, just change the dates and represent it. And year after year, we are also reworking, keeping in mind what is the student effort, what is the student requirement, and how things have been planned. Okay, so RAW has a full form, as we said, it is re-strategize, analyze and win. But we also know there is a word called raw, which is about that raw energy in you, that raw idea in you, right? So we want to catch that raw energy, raw idea in you so that we can give that a particular shape, we can give that a particular track so that your energy is focused in the right manner and you work in that direction. Okay, so what is the simple plan? The plan is very simple, that we want to work so that this time period from now, say we have entered July to December, early June, because early January, because this goes into the first 10 days of January. July to December is one plan, and then January to May is another phase. So we are looking at two phases. Okay. So if you are looking at those two phases, effectively, this time period is more focused on mains, but then what is troubling us is prelims. So we say it is mains plus prelims, and no doubt from January this will be exclusively prelims. That's how the idea works. Okay. So your focus should be in such a manner that from July to December, you will be in a position that you're taking forward this from both GS and optional perspective. So the focus is on general studies also, and the focus is on optional also. So by December, you are in a position where you feel confident about your knowledge, you also feel confident about your writing. Very good writing practice also happens, and knowledge orientation also builds up in terms. Is it possible? It is definitely possible. Right? Why? Because natural human intent is first let me prepare. First let me prepare. But we need to understand preparation never ends. I am sure you will have friends who are writing mains this time. Ask them, are they prepared? They will tell no. Right? Many of them are not wanting to write tests immediately because they say, sir, first let me study, sir. After that, I'll write. So that idea of preparation never ends in UPSC. Because more you prepare, the more you feel, idhan cover madlela, idhan onchur cover madlela, idhan onchur cover madlela. That is why the design also is kept in a manner that step by step, you raise that idea, right? So you confidently walk one by one, right? And we have kept in mind all aspects. Now, some of you might be very good in some things, not very good in many things. So we have kept in mind many such aspects of aspirants of different nature and worked a balance on this thing. Okay. So what is the idea like? The idea is very simple. We are looking at 1 hour tests, 2 hour tests, and full length papers of 3 hours. So what do we do through the 1 hour test? We want to build your confidence in mains answer writing. Many of us, question artha ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ question ಅರ್ಥ ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ then I have a lot of things here, but to put them on paper becomes difficult. How do I do that? So we put that finality in this 1 hour. And what are we touching on? We are touching on very basic subjects. Now, till now you would have studied that. Prelims ವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಾ. History, geography, polity, economics, right? All these things you would have studied. Now that when we ask you very simple questions, you understand that question, how do you formulate an answer, how do you frame an answer, and how does that come out in 1 hour? That 1 hour test happens. Right? Now while these tests are happening, you are now expectedly doing a certain amount of revision of those NCRTs, those books that have been prepared in, that you have already prepared and you are coming up. At that time, for you also to gain confidence, because naturally we have seen sir prelims aglilla sir mains ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದ್ತಾ in. So while this process is happening, we have also integrated some prelims tests because you prepared for geography. On the same day, we'll give you a 2 hours prelims paper on geography. Right? So you have to just change your approach in the way you are writing a geography answer to answering some geography prelims questions. And in that idea, you would have seen in the last 2 years, the way questions are coming are not purely objective, but mains type questions which are coming in prelims. Especially the very previous 2025 prelims paper, if you see, we generally used to see assertion raising questions where there were two statements asking, right, this is A is right, R is wrong, or A is right, R is the correct reason for A, this kind of two statements. You are in 3 statements have come. And that 3 statement kind of questions are exactly mains knowledge kind of expectation that they're looking at. So 1 hour tests are trying to push your understanding in clarity that ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿರೋದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರಲಿ. That idea. Okay. So that's the test that we are putting through when you're wanting you to write that 1 hour. Again, we don't have expectation that you should write very good answers, right? Neither should you push yourself that ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರೀತೀನಿ ಅಂತಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ರೈಟ್? Now, because what is the expectation? When I say fiscal geography, at least the 12th standard fundamentals of fiscal geography textbook tanka odidira, right? NCRT knowledge is very important, so focus on NCRTs immediately on the initial set of things, and then get to whatever your notes and basics that you have already done, improvise them step by step. have a routine that is built on. Okay. So 1 hour test with prelims test integrated, the same subject of what you are preparing that comes in. Then 2 hours test which is syllabus based, right? So we have 4 GS papers. Each of these GS papers are broken into 2. So GS paper 1 is broken into 2 part, 2 is broken into 2 parts. So you have almost 8 papers which are 2 hours. Now here questions will be mains type questions, pushing you analytically, pushing you to think much frame. So illi, we want to clean your answer writing idea. We want to bring that basic framework in your mind so that you are able to formulate an answer, put forward it on a paper. We are able to correct that and bring a thought process in you. Okay, when I see a question, this is how I should think. When I see a question, this is what I have to think. And very basic mistakes most of them make, like many times you see there is a statement in the question and then there is a question that follows. Okay. We generally go with the idea, okay, a statement bagenu na baribeku, then question bagenu na baribeku. In a 10 marks question, na statement bagenu vardu question bagenu baribeku anta hodaga, then you don't have that time also, you don't have that luxury also of space. Because niಮಗೆ marks ಬರೋದು ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿರೋಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ. Right? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ question ಹೇಗೆ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Now these are very simple things. Now all that we want to address during this 1 hour test and slowly get into the 2 hours test, which are mains type framed questions, where by now you would have gained confidence over writing minimally, then you will now experiment that into 2 hours test. Okay. We generally say that while you're writing answers, it should be good mix of paragraph points. Sometimes you should use flowcharts, you should use diagrams. While you're writing GS1 history questions, you should events, personalities, geography questions, diagrams, maps, polity questions, articles, right? Some case studies in terms of very good case laws, right? Similarly, economics questions, Niti Aayog, budget, economic survey reports that you can quote. Itaralla now ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. But how to use it, when to use it, ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. That is where you will experiment yourself here. Because over the time period, as we said, when you start from this time of June to, from this July till December, you have good enough time of 6 months where you can do this experimentation. So during these 2 hours, when you put 2 hours test that you're pushing through, if you're able to do that experimentation, you will slowly see that increase in marks that is pushing yourself, that hike that is coming to yourself. Now, while these 2 hours tests are happening, we have integrated 3 hours paper inside. Andre GS1 the 2 paper ಬರ್ದಿರ್ತೀರಾ, GS2 the 2 paper ಬರ್ದಿರ್ತೀರಾ, and then we'll give you full papers. So the idea is to build your stamina into writing a 3 hours paper or 250 marks on a continuous note. Because many times we doubt ourselves there also. Right? Again, will we be able to complete the paper? 20 questions bariyakagata. And will the mind hold on to that energy for full 3 hours for 250 marks? That also is a doubt. Probably it may not happen. While you are writing through these 2 hour papers, 3 hours papers integrate agadi. But finally, when you come to the final set of 3 papers, where 3 hour papers, where proper like you write means, right? Like you write means, you will have one day essay, second day GS1, GS2, third day GS3, GS4. Right. So in 3 days, you are writing 1250 marks. This may not be your best attempt, but it will give you a feeling like you wrote a mains. Okay. Now you know what are the positives that you have gained over these 6 months and where is that you need to make minor corrections. Expectedly, at least 1 round of complete study would have happened, at least 1 round. And to some of you who are catching good pace and continuing, at least 2 rounds would have gone through. Which means you have good comfort and idea over the content that you have built. Okay? That's the line that we are taking. Now, we have to wipe towards. So, here, as we said, we have sprinkled prelim test in between, right? So, Manjunath sir will give you a very brief idea of the schedule that is planned and how that has been planned, because he has extensively worked on the idea bringing them both together, right? We revised it almost 2 or 3 times in close coordination, because last 2-3 years we have seen people doing very well with GS but struggling with CSAT. So in that sense, we have included some CSAT tests also in between, because that also should keep building confidence. At a certain point of time in between, if you feel CSAT is an area of your weakness, we are ready to work individually with you so that CSAT doesn't become an obstacle. Allu kuda nimge ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. And if we feel that there is a need for a crash course, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ CSAT crash course ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ we'll allow you into that crash course, right, with whatever best, because ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂದ ನಾನು ಹಿಂದುಳಿತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ಹಾಕೂಡದು ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ, that is also something we are ready to work by. So that's the line that we are taking into consideration. Okay, so over the span of these tests, which are approximately about 34 mains tests, right, which includes your 1 hour, 2 hour and 3 hours tests, right? You have essay tests also very good included, and different patterns of essay tests, so that how do you plan, how do you structure your thought process for essay, right? Initially 1 essays that you will get to write, then 2 essays, so that a 3 hours time period, if you have to plan for 2 essays and then I have to build a structure and write good content, good flow, good dimension that I have to build, that I will now do this experimentation and I qualify prelims, and ಆ 3 months ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಕಲಿತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ, ನೀವು ಈಗಲೇ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ನೀವು ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, then naturally you will be in a forefront pushing yourself, right? Now we are guiding people who are writing mains this time, and many times I feel bad that ಈಗ ನಾನು ಈ ತರ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, ಆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಓವರ್ ದಿಸ್ 6 months ಕವರ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್, ರೈಟ್? ವಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ that ಯಾಕೆ ನಮ್ಮಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟಾಗಿ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, right? And I've been in Delhi for 7 years, and then, right, almost from last 8 years now in Bangalore. So what I see is, as soon as a prelims happens, and if one doesn't clear prelims, within a month we as students used to get back to work, and over the next 1 year put such effort that none of these stages would stop. But unfortunately here, given the social surroundings that we are surrounded by and issues that we surround ourselves with, getting back to work becomes a little late, and then lack of right guidance, right effort, right schedule for yourself so that you work on targets, that becomes late. That is something that we want to work. And once prelims clears, means related, that confidence that you need to carry, that June in the ಆಚೆಗೆ I'll do a lot of answer writing practice with collection of good amount of data and current affairs revision, so that I am able to integrate that into answer writing ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ನಾನು ಕೂತು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. Okay, right? So probably the first step is, all of you have shown that idea to be present here, to listen to the idea, to see what I can take back from here. That's the first step that all of you have taken forward. And now, right, we were very clear that we are not looking at big numbers at all, right? In fact, when me and Manju spoke, we said anything less than 20 should be fine. If it is more than 20, let's go for an entrance test, right? So that we want to screen and to take. Okay, that's the idea. There is a challenge that I want to throw to all of you, right, which I will probably throw at the end of the session after Manju speaks, right, in terms of what is that we are seeing through as such. But 34 plus 17 prelims tests that have been integrated. So over the span of these 6 months, you are including 34 mains tests and about 17 prelims pattern tests. That is much before January. And all these papers have been integrated so well with the papers or the syllabus that you are preparing for, that you are not doing anything extra, right, which includes CSAT also, so that you are able to balance on things. Okay, right? So this idea of writing 1 hour, 2 hour and 3 hours test is step by step I will clean myself, step by step I will be working on a certain portion. That way it is going to work. Okay, right? How is that we are going to take the process forward, right? Now, naturally we don't want to say, okay, you come, you write the test, we'll evaluate, we'll give you feedback and we are done, right? So we are trying to work a little more this time, intense, where we want to do something pre-test, right, which Manjunath sir will expand a little more. Something pre-test and very importantly post-test. So that, and all of this will happen one-to-one. Right? We would love to do a discussion, which is a group discussion post-test, but discussion will naturally take 1 hour, 2 hours. Right? And ನಾನು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ದಿರೋದು 1 hour 2 hours ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ 2 ಗಂಟೆ 2.5 ಗಂಟೆ ಕೂತ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸಂಡೇ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕಳೆದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. So wanting to avoid that, synopsis we'll definitely share, right? That will have very good answers that are laid down very clearly. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಒನ್ ಟು ಒನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Before test ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ okay, if these are the topics, what have you prepared till now, what can you do in the next few days remaining, so pre-test what needs to be done, and post-test immediately what are your mistakes, probably for the next test what are the things that you need to keep in mind how it works. One round of evaluation happens through mentors, right? So they will give you a certain feedback which is a personalized one-to-one feedback. Then we are also wanting to meet you once again so that if X person has corrected, right, then you come back to Y and the Y person once again sees your paper and gives you a certain framework again. We will not do this that the same person evaluates all the papers. We are having a system where if they are having 20 people, we'll divide you into 4 groups, and over the period of these 6 months, you'll experience minimum of 4 evaluators. The idea is simple, that whosoever corrects your paper, you get a minimum marks for sure. Because I may like your answer very well, I may like your approach to essay very well, and I may give you a certain amount of marks which you are happy with. Tomorrow the same answer, the same essay goes to somebody else and he may not be feeling very happy about it, and he may reduce 1 mark with every answer, right? A 5 or 10 mark with an essay, that's enough to bring you down. So when this rotates around mentors, the idea is that whosoever's approach, that's what happens in the exam also, right? So whosoever is evaluating with a common scheme, what is that their idea that you're putting forward? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಇವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ I will ensure that there is no exact opposites that are being told by the mentors, but ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ approaches ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. You take the best of all of them, try to integrate in your answers. Never get swayed by topper copies, never get swayed by who are getting good marks. Build your individuality. Your output has to come out on paper, so that how your output can be the best. That is something that we are looking at. Okay? So this is a process that we are working around on the next 6 months, very specifically in this direction, taking answers. Right? So we wanted to exclusively pitch on mentorship based test series. So it is not a test series, it's a mentorship based test series. When we get approach from students who say, sir, I want mentorship, we are ready to do it without any cost. But how will we judge, are you doing things rightly? Right? How will we understand, are you on the right track? That can happen only through tests. So mentorship will be very fruitful only when we are able to see, okay, we have given you some targets, you are prepared on those targets, you write a test, we evaluate, and then we find out, are you doing it rightly or not? So how can we improvise on every step of yours? That is something that the idea of mentorship based test series. Okay? Naturally, the rounds that will follow will have what is called, so what happens from January, we have what is called the Prelims Doctor that will start. Prelims Doctor is one other flagship program which is very successful, running from last 3 years. So here you will have 3 days class, which is alternate days of Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So Monday, Wednesday and Friday you have class, and Sunday you have your test. Okay? So these are 3 days class and test, so that in these 3 days there will be a lot of strategy discussions that will happen, lot of out of the box topics discussions that will happen, previous year question papers based topic discussion that will happen over these 3 days, and Sunday test. Right? Current affairs discussion, lot of CSAT oriented class also will be there included into Prelims Doctor. So Prelims Doctor is an exclusive crash course based test series program which is open to all. They can join separately, but raw students will get access to this directly. Right? So these are value adds. Effectively, The fees that you're paying and the idea that you're focusing is what's happening till December. But the focus is on that you clear prelims. So Prelims Doctor comes complementary, that we add on this crash course based test series, which includes all subjects, including CSAT classes also will be there here, right? Then the next is another important program that we have been focusing upon, which is Prelims Habit. Prelims Habit starts immediately after your notification, probably the week after your notification comes out in February. This happens for 50 days. That's how it is designed. Each day you will have 50 questions. 50 days, each day you will have 50 questions. 30 questions of GS, 20 questions of CSAT. Okay? So every day morning, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. here in the morning, you will face that paper. 30 questions of GS, 20 questions of CSAT, 50 days, 50 questions each. 2,500 questions of comprehensive practice. So, Prelims Doctor, every Sunday test will continue, which is a proper test series that will give you targets. Apart from that, these are 2,500 questions that you will face, right, which is Monday to Saturday, Monday to Saturday. Okay. So, these tests will approximately be 20, 22, 25 in number. So, this is 2,500, another 2,500 is 5,000 questions that you would have practiced, including GS and CSAT. Apart from this, previous year questions is something that you will do with a lot of practice for yourself with prelims. So, with this amount of practice in prelims, prelims should not stop. Right? What will I get as a student? I will get a routine. I will get follow-up. I will get somebody who will continuously be monitoring me and who will continuously be mentoring me, who will not allow me to distract, who will not allow me to deviate. So, next 1 year of mine is monitored. Right? And that ensures that without any unforced errors, without any emotional errors on your side, you will clear prelims. And once you clear prelims, the confidence that you have built over the last 6 months from July to December, in terms of the practice that you have done in terms of mains, that will naturally carry on, right, from next June, that is 2026 June, when you work on your mains. Lot of answer writing practice through the mains habit and other programs that we are pushing on, so that you clear. That's the idea. Okay? ರೈಟ್ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಬಾರಿ ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಒಂದು ಆಸೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೋ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಬ್ಬರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಪುಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಬ್ಬರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಬ್ಬರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕೇಳೋರು ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಳೆದು ನಿಂತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ದೊಡ್ಡಣ್ಣ, ಒಬ್ಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರೋರು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಕೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದಟ್. So a mentor will be that person who are constantly behind you to check are you on the right path, to check are you doing it rightly as such. Okay, right. We have a good team of 4 to 5 mentors who are constantly behind you, who are constantly working with you. Right. So we have, most of them have written multiple mains. We have given interviews. We want to see through that this process belongs to you, right? Because you have dreamt about it, you are passionate about it, right? If you are very serious about it, definitely you will make it through. If not this year, next year for sure. And to make that next year for sure, effort has to start from now. Right? Step by step, effort has to start from now. And it definitely can happen. Okay? In between, there is a week where you feel like taking a break. There is a week where you don't feel like studying very much. Get in touch with the mentor. Take time out. Right? Relax yourself. Come back. Work with double intensity. Right? That amount of flexibility we will allow. Right? But break is a break so that you refresh yourself, right? Break is not a break so that you can take double breaks for that. That's what we have to do. Okay? Right. So that's the basic idea, right? I'll now invite Manju to come up on stage so that he can give you much more thought process in terms of how the design is, specifically focusing on the timetable as such, so that that ideas will be thrown. And further, as I said, right, we'll close with a certain challenge that I want to put. There are questions online, we'll definitely answer those questions. Just hold on to the idea.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, what is the key to clear any exam? So, if you are writing any exam, so what you will look for first? Sorry, knowledge, then practice, then exactly syllabus. So, if you are writing any exam, first we will go for syllabus, right? So, foremost thing is syllabus. So, how many of you have gone through main syllabus? Every GS. So, at least from now onwards, you should read main syllabus GS1 to GS4 every day, one GS syllabus. Hardly it will take some 5 to 7 minutes. So, by reading that main syllabus, you will become familiarity with the syllabus. That will help you in reading. So, if you are reading NCERT, so you will link whatever you have read, topics or concept, to that respective topic in the GS syllabus. So, you should do this exercise for next 2 months, so that the whole syllabus will be in your mind. So, this is the first pillar. So, what is second pillar? To clear exam. So, second pillar is previous year questions. So, they will guide you what to read and questions coming from which themes. There will be few themes, be it prelims or mains. From those themes, repeated questions will come every year. So, if you go and check the previous year questions, there will be repeated questions on Article 21 from Polity. Every alternate year, you will get one question on Article 21. If you go and check a geography question, prelims, minerals, be it critical minerals, rare earth minerals, or metallic minerals, non-metallic minerals. So, those are all, there are few certain themes. So, from those themes, the question will repeat. So, that what to read, which area we have to focus, that idea we will get from previous year questions. So, if you are thorough with the last 10-year previous year questions, then you can easily attempt mains. And if you are thorough with last 15 to 20 years previous year questions, not just reading question and its solution, you have to read that theme or topic. Say for example, if they are asking question on critical minerals, you should not just read minerals, you should read all metallic and non-metallic minerals, energy resource. Then after, along with that, you should read acts and policies related to that minerals and regulatory bodies. So this year one question came on petroleum and natural gas regulatory body. If you open 4-year previous year question, the same question, there was one question on the same body. So 4-year question they asked petroleum and natural gas regulatory body, again they have asked the same question. So they are repeating, the themes will be same, the way of asking question will be different. So you have to read the same material, the same, only the current affairs will change, right? So that is the importance of previous year question. And the third pillar is, so what you should have? You should have notes. So if you are preparing for mains, you should definitely have notes. Either it is ready-made notes or your handwritten notes. Unless until you have notes, so writing mains is very difficult. Why? Because you cannot read books and prepare. Books ಓದಿ ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಬೇಸ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ respective study material or books. So, or else you can take ready-made notes. This I will discuss during mentorship. So, which notes to refer, what notes you have, whether that is sufficient or not. If not sufficient, what extra you should read. So, that we will discuss in phase 1 of the mentorship. So, after that, after notes, what is next? The fourth pillar. So, you have notes, you prepared well. Then what next? You have revised it at least 3 to 4 times. Next, how you are going to assess your performance? By writing test, right? So, this is the fourth pillar. So, here evaluation and feedback plays an important role. If you write, you can write any exam. If you follow this process, be it prelims or mains, the overall broader framework remains the same. So, you know all these three things, right? So, the fourth one you have to do, that is writing test, getting feedback, where you are standing in the competition, right? So, here many of you know what to read, which books to refer. So, this year, while giving feedback to the many of the aspirants who are writing this year mains, when I asked which notes or books they are referring for GS2, Polity and Governance, they said Lakshmikant. So, Lakshmikant is only for prelims. It doesn't cater to the mains. And he don't know main syllabus. And he has written like he read Lakshmikant twice and he came and wrote. So, average marks he was getting per answer is 2.5 to 3. So, you should know what to read and what not to read. So, Lakshmikant until prelims you should read. After prelims, there is no use of reading Lakshmikant. For mains, you should have notes for each and every topic that you have to revise properly. So, that we are going to discuss in phase 1 of the mentorship. What notes you have, how many revisions you have made, then if you have written any previous year question answer. So, you will be writing as a part of your preparation. Say for example, you have studied separation of powers in polity, right? So, after reading polity notes, there will be some 3 to 4 previous year questions on separation of powers. So, you will be writing answers to those questions. So, that you should come and show and you should get it evaluated in phase 1 of the mentorship. So, phase 2, the phase 2 of the mentorship, it starts after your test. So, your test will be evaluated and you will get feedback. So, there we are going to assess your answers. So, what are the parameters that will be assessed in an answer? So, in parameters ನಾವು answer ಅಲ್ಲಿ usually ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. So, evaluator, what he looks for in an answer. So, what are these? Any idea? So, what is the foremost thing that an evaluator looking for in an answer? ಏನು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು? The basic thing. So, one is saying structure of answer. Next, so what is next parameter? Exactly. So, the first thing an evaluator look is content. Whether whatever you have written, it meets the demand of the question or not. So, content is the king. Structure, it may little bit vary depending on the need of the question. So, how structure varies? the same content can be restructured based on the need of the question. So, which word defines the need of the question? Any idea? So, you have said structure of the answer. So, how it depends on, so which parameter decides the structure of the answer? So, there will be some directive words in the question: discuss, comment, elaborate, right? Critically examine. So, these directive words, they will decide the structure of your answer. So, this structure comes next. So, first thing is content. You should write the content which is as per the demand of the question, and you should structure it in such a way that it meets the directive demand of the directive word. So, after structure, then what is next? So, what is next thing? So, third point is presentation. So, what are the parameters covered in presentation? Your handwriting. So, handwriting should be legible. ಸೊ ಅಕ್ಷರ ದುಂಡಗಾಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ದುಂಡಾಗಿ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ 5 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಲೆಜಿಬಲ್, ಓದೋರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾ. ದೆನ್ ದೇರ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಎನಿ ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗ್ರಾಮಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್. You can escape in GS paper the spelling and grammatical mistakes. Why? Because in GS paper we are not going to write complete sentences. So tropical cyclones formed on the oceanic water body where temperature is 27 degrees Celsius and more. So we are not going to like what are the conditions required for formation of tropical cyclone. We will not be writing full sentences. We are writing just what are the conditions. Sea surface temperature should be greater than 27 degrees Celsius. That's it we are writing, right? But this is not the case with essay writing. In essay, you will be narrating, you will be explaining, you will be articulating your ideas and points with stories, examples, and anecdotes. There, if you do any grammatical mistakes and spelling mistake, so even your ideas are very good, you are going to lose marks, at least to the extent of 10 marks, just because of spelling mistake and grammatical errors. So, then after handwriting and spelling and grammatical mistakes, so this we can collectively call language, right? You should have a good hold on English language. So then what is the fourth parameter? So you have written points, you have written introduction and conclusion. So how you are going to support your answers? Sorry? Through diagrams, examples, then so case laws. So what we call all these things collectively? Sorry? Substance, substantiation. So we collectively call all these things as value addition. So you are writing points and you are writing example for that point. So you are giving support to your answer. So that will add value to your answer. So for you have written for 10 marks. So how many points we have to write for 10 marks? So what is the expected number of points for 10 marks, including introduction and conclusion? So we should write at least 8 points. Along with these 8 points, we should write at least 3 to 4 examples. If there is a scope, if there is no scope for example, then there is a scope for value addition. What is this? Data and facts. Then there will be a scope for diagrams. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಬರಿಬೋದು ನಾವು, ಕಮಿಟಿ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಒನ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ 4 important answer assessment parameters that are looped into your answer. So here, so while discussing the program features, Prashant sir told 1 hour test. In 1 hour test, so it is purely NCERT based test. So it is not only help you in mains preparation, also help you in prelims preparation, because many of the questions directly come from NCERT. So if you go through last 10 to 15 year questions, so the same themes will be repeated, especially geography, history, and biology and environment. Those questions directly they will come from NCERT. So reading NCERT is very important. And from last 5 years, economic questions also coming from NCERT, like 10th standard NCERT, and then there is a Indian economic development NCERT is there. Definition based on poverty, definition based on human capital, and definitions based questions in prelims, like what is intangible, what is that? Tangible and intangible asset. So like that, like such kinds of questions, they are from this Indian economic development NCERT. Then there is 2 famous NCERTs with respect to polity. One is political theory. So the definition based questions like equality, liberty, what is rule of law, all those such kinds of questions they have taken from this political theory NCERT. Then one more NCERT called Indian Constitution at Development, Indian Constitution at Work. So the questions are coming from that NCERT also. Not only in prelims and mains, even in if you go for ethics, so the NCERT topics they will be reflected in ethics paper also in theory part. If you go through the question, so while reading NCERT, you will realize that I have seen one question somewhere in the mains. So if you go through GS1 to GS3, you will not find. Then you have to open GS4 previous year question. Then you will realize that. So the NCERT topics are being asked in ethics also. John Rawls justice theory. So it is mentioned in political theory, right? Political theory NCERT, 11th or 12th standard. So that question reflected in UPSC ethics. So reading NCERT, it is not just for prelims. So it is also for mains, and also for it will help you in writing ethics paper and also essays. So coming to the mentorship. So what is your expectation from mentorship, or what is your idea of mentorship? So what do you expect? So already we have discussed there will be 2 phases. Phase 1. So this is before your test. So what and all we can discuss before test? So already I discussed while discussing the answer assessment parameters. So in phase 1 we will discuss about approach to the subject, be it GS subject or sub-subject within the GS. Say for example, if we go to GS1, so there are 3 subjects in GS1. History is there, society is there, geography is there. So each subject carries different approach. So one subject ide reeti odbeku anta enilla, and there is no rule that you should ರೀಡ್, ಇವಾಗ ಟಾಪರ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟಾಪರ್ಸು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಪೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಓದಿ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡಿ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. ಸೊ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಗೂ ಏನು ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಓದಬೇಕು, ಹೌ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಬುಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾರಿ ಓದಬೇಕು, ಮೇನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಓದಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಓದೋ ಬರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ನೋಟ್ಸು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಈ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಓದ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾವುದೂ ಓದೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್. ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಿ ಇಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಾಮ್ ಎನಿ ಟಾಪರ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರಿಟನ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಫರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಫೈನಲೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ 4 to 5 times ಬೈ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಅನ್ನಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ನೀವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಾಗಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಪ್ರತಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ಗೂ, ಇವಾಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈ ನಾಳೆ ಯಾವುದಿದೆ ಟೆಸ್ಟು, ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ NCERT ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ 1 week ಆ್ಯಂಪಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಂದ ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟಿಗೆ. ಈ 1 week ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆ NCERTನ 2 ರಿಂದ 3 ಸಾರಿ ಓದಬೇಕು. ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಓದಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. ಯಾವ ಏರಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಏರಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಯಾವ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು, ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ಒನ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ರೀಡ್ ಎನಿ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ ಹಿಂದೂ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್. ಹಿಂದೂ ಪೇಪರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಓದ್ತಿರ್ತೀರ, ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರದ್ದು, ಎಡಿಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಬರೆದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Or else if you take any UPSC topic, what themes you should study with respect to that topic. So UPSC is very simple. There are issues in society. Government is putting effort to solve those issues, right? Still there are challenges. ಈ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ವೇ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ವೇ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್. You take any topic of UPSC, you can fit that into this framework. Take for example governance. So there are issues in governance. What are the issues in governance? Corruption, leakage of funds. Sorry? There is no transparency, lack of transparency, accountability. So government, what is government doing to overcome that? E-governance, social audit, RTI, citizen charter. Then what are the challenges for that? ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ಮೇಲೂ challenges ಇದೆ. So there are no regulatory gaps, monitoring and evaluation ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, collusion, corruption, coercive corruption. So next ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ವೇ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಬರೀತೀರ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್. ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 10 points at least with relevant data, value addition. So if you take, you can take for example issue of climate change. So what is the issue? Climate change. It's a broader issue. So if you go subdivide it into the climate change, so climate change ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ reasons ಏನು? So if we come to geography, it is a phenomena based process. Geography, there are lot of phenomena. So ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಫಿನಾಮಿನಾ ಆಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೂ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಸೇಟಿವ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾಸೇಟಿವ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅದ್ರ ಕಾನ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ಸು, ಲಿಮಿಟೇಷನ್ಸು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದೇರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಫರ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಟ್. So the same framework, it applies for society also. If you take social issues, same, and for if you come to history, the framework will be different. So you should know that framework, which approach or framework suits to which subject, and you should prepare accordingly. Actually, if you consider, preparing for mains is easier than preparing for prelims. For prelims, you should read every material line by line. Lakshmikant, you should read line by line. NCERT, for geography, you should read 6th to 12th NCERT line by line. The same is not the case for mains. So for mains, you should have notes, points. So you should prepare everything. If you prepare your notes, your 60% of the preparation is over. So that we will discuss in phase 1. In phase 2, it is very simple. So you have written your answers. So we have discussed the answer assessment parameters, right? So based on the demand of the question, all those parameters, whether your answer addresses or not, we will assess. So maximum, say for example 10 marks, the maximum UPSC, if the UPSC is allotting maximum 6 marks, from 6 marks we will start deducting. So if you have not written introduction and conclusion, half marks gone. If there is no value addition, another half marks gone. So for 10 marks you have to write how many points? At least 8 points. So you have written only 4 to 5 points. So another 1 or 2 marks gone. So like that we will start deducting. So that is the approach. So that comes in evaluation. Then feedback. So here we will discuss what was your approach during the exam hall, what was your thoughts, what you have written. So how you can improve further. So for this you have to maintain one register. So where you will be registering all your mistakes and feedbacks. Before coming to any test, before preparing be it prelims test or mains test, you go through all your mistakes and you prepare, then you write the test. So your accuracy will increase and your mistakes will come down. Okay. So that is about mentorship. So rest of the features sir has discussed regarding program features. So anybody has any doubt? Now I will discuss the schedule. All of you have gone through the timetable of RA schedule. So there are total 34 main tests. So you are preparing only for main test and you are not preparing for essay. You have to just come and write whatever based on your pre-existing knowledge. So you can ask for the approach. Essay ಹೇಗೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಏನು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. That we will tell how to write essay ಅಂತ, or else we will suggest videos or recordings we will provide. So go through those classes, learn the approach, but you are not preparing for essay. So you are preparing for only GS paper. So based on this GS knowledge, you are going to write essay. So ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 4 to 5 years ಇಂದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿಕಲ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ಓದಿರೋ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ GS ನಾಲೆಜನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ the principles, values or theories or examples we are studying in ethics, that will be very useful in writing essay paper. So there is no separate preparation for essay. So out of 34, you remove 8 essay paper. So what is the remaining? 26, right? So you will be preparing for 26 papers, that too mains, and there is no separate prelims preparation required. Based on your mains preparation, you come and write the prelims test. So the topics will be same whatever mains topics you are studying. So based on the same topics, we will be asking questions in the prelims. So you have to just give an attempt. After that, you have to assess your performance, right? So initially we have 1 hour test for the next 1 month. So the physical geography test completed last week. So this week we have India physical environment. So here so this Indian geography, the major importance is for prelims. So read it as a line by line, like you prepare for prelims. Then after for every test you should do 2 revisions. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ಗೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಸಾರಿ ನೀವು ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಏನೇ ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಸಾರಿ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ರೀಕಾಲ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಾಲ್, that will consume lot of time. So by that process you will not be able to complete, or you will not be able to attempt all the answers. So at least 2 revisions, 1 thorough reading, 1 rough reading. So that is expected for each exam. So in order to make sure that you will make 2 revision, for 1 hour test there is a 1 week gap, and for 2 hour test there is a 10 days gap. So if you go through syllabus, so there is a 10-day gap. So GS1 section 1, it starts from September 2025. So your last means was 31st August 2025. So there is a exactly 10 days gap. So in between there is a CSAT paper. So you'll, for each 2 hour test, that is sectional test, so that is modeled on UPSC syllabus, and questions will be like UPSC mains question. So you have to prepare your UPSC main study material. So for that sectional test, so the notes that we will discuss during pre-test mentorship, that you have to read once or twice, and then if any answer you have written, you can take this, what is that, picture, and you make it PDF and you can send, and you can get the feedback. Okay, so that is the approach. So after that, at least 2 revisions are required. So after that you have to write test, and for 1 hour test it is purely NCERT based. So there is a 1 week gap, and for geography initially we have only 1 NCERT. When it comes to history, the number of NCERT will increase. So you have to prepare, you have to read all those NCERTs. The question will be like direct straightforward questions. So last week geography test ಯಾರು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ನ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನು ತಲೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸಿಂದ ನೀವು ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ದು, ಸೊ ಆ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮೇಲೇ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮೇನ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ 1 hour ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಓದೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸಿಗೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮೇನ್ಸಿಗೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡೈವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿ 2 hour ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 10 hour ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೋಸ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟ್ half of the day for your ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ half of the day for GS. ಸೊ ಇದಾಗಿನೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಮೇಕ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಟು ಅಸ್, ಸರ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಮೈ 2 to 3 revisions. I will do that, then I will write the test. There is a flexibility. You can collect the paper, then you read it, then you write it. So for all these 1 hour and 2 hour test, we want to assess your content, whether you have relevant content or not. You can finish, there is no rule that 1 hour test na 1 hour alle mugisbeku anta. Take 10 minutes extra, 20 minutes extra. Make sure that you write all the questions. So this is content building phase. So here we want to know whether you have content or not. Illi time constraint ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. If you have written within 1 hour, that is good. If you have completed the paper within 2 hours, that is good. If you are not able to complete, then take half an hour extra. Make sure that you write all the questions, so that we will be able to know that you have relevant content. So you are not able to complete on time because you made less number of revision. Because of that, you were thinking in the exam what to write and what not to write. ಸೊ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ 2 revision, if you go for 4 revisions, then I will assure that 1 hour paper you will complete it within 2 to 3 minutes. 1 hour ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೂ ಮೊದಲು ಇನ್ನೂ 2-3 ನಿಮಿಷ ನೀವು ಮೊದಲೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ how fast you recall the relevant points. To recall relevant points, you should go for multiple number of revisions. Before that, you should finalize your notes. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಓದಿದೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ, ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ರೂಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟಾಪರ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಓದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಓದಬೇಕಂತಿಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡು NCERT, ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ NCERT, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಪೀಪಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರಮ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ಯಾವ್ದು ಓದಿದ್ರೂ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್, ಬೋತ್ ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಓದಬಾರ್ದು. ಒಂದು ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ನ ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So revision plays very important role, be it prelims or mains. So after your content building phase, 3-hour test ಏನಿದೆ, try to stick to it 3 hours. 3 hours ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಏನು. ಸೊ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ಲೆಂಗ್ 3-hour ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಿ, ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಟು ದ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟು ಮತ್ತು ಫುಲ್ ಲೆಂಗ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ still you are getting very less marks, you can ask for modular test. For example, you are not good at GS1 society part ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊಸೈಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ GS1 ಪೇಪರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ದೇರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಸರ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಅಸೆಸ್ ಮೈ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ನು ನೀವು ತೊಗೋಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂಗ್ತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಸ್ಕೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ನೋಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಎದುರಿ, ಸರ್ 51 ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ವೀಕ್ಲಿ 2 ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಓದಬೇಕು ಏನು. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ನಾಟ್ ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್, except essay, you are preparing for all other GS1 to GS4, right? So any doubts? So along with this schedule, you can prepare your optional. So you at max you have to dedicate every day 6 hours for GS. So another 4 to 5 hours for your optional. So if you allocate 6 hours per day, you can complete the syllabus, whatever mentioned as per the schedule. If you are not able to complete due to some emergency issue, then you can, after completing, you can write the test. So rest all things we will discuss during one-to-one mentorship. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಾಡರ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ನ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮದು 1-to-1 ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಸಂಡೇ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಮೀ ಆನ್ ಮಂಡೇ, so that we will be discussing approach to the next test. ಇವಾಗ ಈ ನಾಳೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಸಂಡೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮಂಡೇ ಬಂದು ನಾನು ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಹಿಯರ್ 10 to 6. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗಾದ್ರೂ ಬಂದು ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬಂದು ಸರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಈ ಬುಕ್ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸೊ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾರಿ ಓದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಫಿಲಿಮ್ಸಿಗೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಓದಬೇಕು ಏನು. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮಂಡೇ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಫೇಸ್, ನಿಮ್ದು ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಮುಗಿದು ಒಂದು 4-5 ದಿನ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಪೇಪರು, ಅವಾಗ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ನಿಮಗೆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಗೇನ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರೊಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾರೇ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಓಕೆ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇವಾಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಫೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ 2 hour ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವೆನ್ಸ್ಡೇ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ವೆನ್ಸ್ಡೇ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಸಂಡೇ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸಂಡೇ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಂಡೇ ಬಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್, ಬಿ ಇಟ್ CSAT ಆರ್ GS ಪೇಪರ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ವೆನ್ಸ್ಡೇ ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಆನ್ Thursday and you have to discuss next GS1 section 2 paper. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಹೆರಿಟೇಜ್, ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಆರ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಮಿಡಿವಲ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಗೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅದೇ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದು ಬರೀರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. ಸೊ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್, ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್?
So as it is said, the expectation is along with this, if you are able to pull through your optional also, that is something that would be very important. We will also try to help you there along with this in terms, we have Kannada literature, anthropology, public administration, political science, sociology, agriculture, right? These are options where we are ready to help you directly. Other options that you're pursuing when you're in touch with us one-to-one, right? Please talk to us so that we want to ensure by this December you're thorough with your optional with some amount of good answer writing practice, if through a test series, necessarily a test series also, right? So in that way we are ready to help you, right? Long term test series ಈಗ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಯಾರು ಈ ಸತಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಬರೀತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಕೂಡ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇರೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ನ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 20 days ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಮಂತ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟೊಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಬರೀತಾ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಬರೀತಾ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಕವರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, GS also, so that you are able to push through optional and GS together. That also is something that we want to help you around. Okay, so you need to balance your preparation very well, right? ಹೇಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರ್, ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ GS ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಹೇಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರ್? ದಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ವುಡ್ ವಿಶ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ one-to-one. It's not a general strategy because depending on your idea, where do you stand on optional? Because we have a question online which says, optional I'm very weak, I would join class now. So adar jotege do you think this test series will help? That idea. That we would wish to discuss one-to-one. Preferably, it's an idea where some of you may want to study first half of your day, you want to study GS, second half of the day, you want to study optional. That can be one strategy. The other way, 3 days a week or 4 days a week GS, 2 days a week, 3 days a week optional, so that you have a continuity throughout when you're studying. ಆ ಥರನೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Either way, right, whichever is comfortable, but let's sit down one-to-one. Let's understand from you which optional, where do you stand, how do you need to gather yourself. Our basis ಮೇಲೆ work ಮಾಡೋಣ. That way we'll definitely work along. Okay, right? So that's something that will take it forward. Okay, so questions online. One question that we had was in terms of okay, what about online students? How do we join? And I have first question is I have not yet studied optionals, so it feels like a burden to study along with prelims and mains test series. So what do I do? So that the specific idea is see, when we look at optional, if you are looking at complete study of optional from scratch complete study of optional, if you are looking at, then that requires effort that you need. But how much? You are looking at 2 hours, 2.5 hours day, class per day, and that too probably 3 days or 4 days a week, sometimes depending on the institution they're taking 5 days a week, which means the remaining part of your day is free, alva? So if you're doing only optional, then you can definitely take up the test series because that gives you very good routine for your schedule. Nim day na plan ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ, nim week, nim months na plan ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ raw test series ಜೊತೆಗೆ optional class plus class ಜೊತೆ class test ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ. Right, now you have done your optional, you're not very confident, right? Then again, right, you need not join a class once again, you need to take up a test series. ಆ test series ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ. ಯಾರು ಟೀಚರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತೀರಾ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ನೀವು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರಿ. ಏನು ಓದಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರೀರಿ, ಟೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ಸರ್ ಸೆಡ್, do a lot of self practice in terms every day, set a target every day, minimum 1 answer of GS, 1 answer of optional. ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕಡೆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಡೈಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್. ಸರ್ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ದಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಹಿ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಡೈಲಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಡೈಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಬರೀರಿ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್, ವಿತೌಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಲೆಗೆಡ್ಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬೇಡ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವೇ. And then when you come to a test, push yourself to stick to time as much as possible. Okay, that way daily one answer of GS, one answer of optional self-practice, one essay per week self-practice apart from the test that you're doing. ಆಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸು ಕೂಡ ಪಿಕಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ತಂದು ನಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ, ಮೆಂಟರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ವಾಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಪುಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಓವರ್ ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 6 months so that you're through. Right? That's the ultimate intention. Right? Every May coming in, we feeling we are not very well prepared, and then prelims happening. Illa adon ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಇದೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಪೇಪರ್ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇತ್ತು. ನಮಗೆ ನಾವೇ ನೆಪಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ರೈಟ್, ಹೌ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡು ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್? That is something, a question that you should ask. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ರೈಟ್, ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಸರಿ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಸರಿ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವೇ ತುಂಬ ಕ್ರೂರವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಾವೇನು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಿ ಎಡವಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. Okay, that's the line that you should take forward. So, will you provide an optional test series? We definitely will provide an optional test series. That's a separate idea altogether, starting from this month end or August first week, going up till December. Right, spaced very well. Sectional papers, full papers, we'll give you an optional test series. That will do. Okay. Optional test series design will be different. GSLE, every test will have a detailed synopsis that will be given one-to-one discussion. Optional test series, question paper with discussion, one-to-one discussion. Synopsis will be a difficult idea, but we'll see what best we can work out. Okay, that's something. How about online students? Is it worth to join? Yeah. Every program that we design keeping both online and offline students in mind. So what do? Is we'll have a course in the app of India4IAS on the app ಇದೆ, learning app ಇದೆ. ಆ app ಅಲ್ಲಿ we will put up a course. We'll give you access to the course. On the day of the test, the question paper, the booklet of the question and answer booklet will be uploaded. Prelims test series will as it is be uploaded. So like you take an online prelims test, you can take up. But mains test, the question booklet will be uploaded. All that you will need to do is take a printout, write, scan, send it to us. When you send it to us, we will evaluate, scan and send it back to you. Right, so that evaluation ನಿಮಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ದೆನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರನೂ ನಿಮ್ದು ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರನೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಅ ಕಾಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೂ ಅ ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವೇ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್. ರೈಟ್, we would be happy if you can come down at least once in a month if you are able to come down, so that you can sit down face to face with us, so that we can discuss what issues are you facing, what we want to tell you face to face. That would help, right? Even once in 2 months also would help, so that interaction develops very well. Otherwise, definitely online support will be there, right? We will evaluate your papers, send it back to you over phone. We'll do your mentorship, so that what changes you can bring about, idellavaannu kuda definitely ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, right, you will be part of the program as it is for every normal student or offline also. That support will be there. Okay, any other questions online? Any questions here? Anything you want to ask?
So that is custom made. Say for example, if you are not doing well in society part, so we will sit and discuss, then you will be revising, then we will be fixing date, then we will provide you a test. So it is custom made. Okay. So one more thing, while writing answer essay and ethics paper, don't limit yourself and don't judge yourself. What points, whether I am writing these points, whether they are relevant or not. So that will be judged by evaluators. Your job is to prepare, to revise thoroughly, then come and write the test. Be it writing any value addition, drawing diagrams, maps, or mentioning any committee reports or suggestions. Don't judge yourself. Whatever comes to your mind, write it. So whether that is relevant or not, that will be evaluated and feedback will be given by the mentors. Why? Because why I am saying, whatever points that is coming to your mind, especially in essay, the ideas, that may be very much relevant and that may impress the evaluator. So if you limit yourself, if you start judging, ನಾನು ಬರೆಯೋದು ತಪ್ಪು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವೇ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, you are not coming up with those innovative ideas. Thereby you are going to lose marks. So whatever comes to your mind, do it. All experiments you do it here, you will get the feedback. So the experiments that will get you good marks, carry forward them to the exam hall. So definitely you will you will get the very good marks. Okay.
Yes. Any other question? Okay. Finally, to the idea of the fees. Okay. Now naturally, multiple times you are writing ಅಂದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ Keeping all that in mind only, we have designed the fees idea, and I'm sure you would have seen through that when you see the picture, right? It's a very base minimum fees that we are looking at so that it doesn't in any way become a burden. That's how the fees has been designed. Okay, effectively it would go up to 35. There again, we're looking at 30. But those who want to start early, we are looking at 17,700. It's a base minimum fees, very base minimum fees. Okay, right. This because students who would have already paid some fees with us, taken courses with us. So academic students and others, we have shown a minimal difference in early bird offer or no idea. The challenge that we want to throw to you is for all of you who would write every single test without missing a single test, right? If you write every single test of the entire course, right? If you write every single test, we'll refund the fees. That's the challenge, right? Without missing a single test, if you write every test, flexibility is there, right? Today I couldn't write, can I write it tomorrow? Allowed, right? But don't take it for granted, okay? If you write every single test, whatever is being listed, right, your fees will be refunded. That's a gap. That's a challenge you can take up. That's up to you, right? You will see the change that will happen within you. You will see the routine that you will build to yourself, and you will take it forward. Okay, right? So that's where probably we would close for today, right? All the very best. As we said, you would have seen the schedule. These are things that doesn't require fresh preparation. Like sir has been repeatedly pointing out, this doesn't require fresh preparation. It requires just glancing through what you have already done now and coming and writing. And we are not expecting you to be perfect, correct in every aspect. But putting your pen to paper takes effort. Put your pen to paper, right? Push, write whatever you are able to write. Sit down with us, learn, and we want to see improvements every now and then that you're changing. Okay, and that's the challenge. That let's work together, right? We would want to see you everybody next June sitting here for a mains orientation, so that you are writing a mains test series and continuously practicing that way. Okay, perfect. All the very best to all of you. Thank you so much. See you all. People online also, thank you so much. All the very best. Right, let's take this up forward. Okay, thank you. Good day.